Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hey, you will make it TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Welcome to another live segment of You Will Make It TV, where we believe faith attracts possibilities. But it's up to you what you do with those possibilities thereafter. We're so happy to be back today with another live stream discussion digest topic. It has been a minute since I've got to come on here and do some reaction and commentary to different events, topics, trending topics from across the globe. And it's just what I love to do. If you're new to my channel, welcome a million, 1,000 times. Please feel free to hit that subscribe bell, the golden subscribe bell. Not only makes you a subscriber, but helps you remain notified of all future postings of live streams. Shorts are shorts. Y'all don't want to miss that. Hit that subscribe bell. You may have a lot of subscriptions to a lot of motivational, inspirational channels already, but it won't hurt you to add just one more. We are You Will Make It TV, where we believe faith attracts possibilities. And this is your home for inspirational quotes, not just for women. We do inspirational quotes for everybody, okay? But yes, I was inspired to do quotes, especially for women, not only women, but single mothers. It's just time out. We stop looking at today like single parent culture is not. I'm not gonna say it's not normal, but it's definitely been prevalent for quite some time now. Single mothers go back as far as the 1800s. It just wasn't as is that word prevalent as what we see today. Today compared to yesterday, yes, single parenthood is definitely, once again, I don't want to use the word normal. I'm not going to say it's normal because the story we're going to talk about today proves it's not normal. Um, but it is prevalent. Like, what is that? What's a better word? Like, it's common. Single parenthood. See, before this story was even published in news articles and everything, I knew that single parenthood, the life of single parenting, everything that comes with it, was definitely common and prevalent. But is it what? Let me quote Erica Badu real quick. She said, "Nobody chooses to be a single parent." I just, to this day, I agree with it. Down here, that link y'all see on the screen right here to the left, at the bottom of the screen, that is the link if anybody is interested in joining me on stage today, or because a lot of people don't know when I'm going live. That's why I like what I do. You never know when I'm gonna go live. You never know when I'm gonna upload a short. You never know what my next content is gonna be. Feel free to subscribe to my other channel as well, Crown Publishing Content, where publishing and marketing finally meet, because that's where we started. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. I'm a publisher at heart, a self-publisher. Let me correct that, right? In everything, I'm still learning and growing every day. Every time I get an opportunity to learn, and let me add, I am also a single parent. But every time I get the opportunity to expound my skills, especially as a self-made artist, a self-made author, not only that, I'm still building a publishing company. It is what it is. That's why at the bottom of the screen, this segment ain't about that, but I will periodically make sure to post the email where you guys can forward questions, comments, and inquiries. Just because I haven't done publishing work in a minute doesn't mean I forgot any skills. Some people need to hear this, some don't. You know, you choose your side of the field. But it doesn't mean that's like you being a top gamer in 2005 and people thinking you forgot how to game just because you hadn't did it in a while. That's kind of how it is walking in my shoes at this time in my life. It's really crazy. I can prove it better than I can show it. Like I got a few daughters I'm finna help. Finally publish some comic books they have been wanting to do. Now, as far as showing them how to do it, I don't know how far I will get into that. I can promise people by the time, they have to be self sufficient and on their own. It will be another skill they can always learn from their mother, but that doesn't mean mother has every skill in the world. just enough skills to show them how they can survive. It's real funny how the world is battling me too at the same time. It's like, no, we rather show your kids this and that and hope that they choose this and that when they get older instead of like legal techniques, legal skills that you can show them as a mother. Real talk. You know, people have had that narrative for single black women for too long that all we know in our head is sex. Well, I say if that's gonna be the stigma of black women, uh, we gotta ask at some point, well, who's teaching them? Who's teaching them? If this is all they really know, if this is all their brain is full with, is sex, sexual techniques, sexual preference, and the actual act of sex, and being somebody's 304 and stuff like this, right? Like, who is implanting that in them? For too long, we sit here and just let people take the blame for stuff, but I feel like we're not asking enough questions. Period. I'm about to get off into the topic in a minute. I'm just warming up. Like I said, I haven't did a live stream in a minute. If you're new, welcome again. That's what I do. That's what I'm best at talking. I'm just learning to use my gift of gab for other open, positive areas of positivity for the world, right? Any one of us can talk. We was all born with teeth, a tongue. A deaf person can speak. They just might not hear themselves. I'm not downplaying the power of the tongue. What I'm doing is saying that everybody was pretty much born with that power, but what are we doing with it? When we speak on a young single mother and say, well, that's a 304, and that's all that 304 knows, and that's all that 304 is ever going to be, that only holds power and truth if that person you're talking about chooses to be what came out your mouth about them. Because, see, people think that's not an issue to go around and say whatever, however, about whoever. But then when that person is in danger due to your rumors, due to your silly thinking, nobody wants to take accountability. Just like with this young mother whose kids died of possible hypothermia from sleeping in a car because they didn't have a home. This story apparently is out of Detroit, Michigan. It doesn't matter where it's from. I'm just trying to add details of facts in here where I can. Detroit, Michigan. Uh, a mother claims that she went to different resources for help as far as housing, not just housing, but sometimes along your journey of housing, and it just I can't get it out quick enough, y'all, how it makes me mad. The reason I brought up Crown Publishing Content, my other channel, right here on YouTube, you'll find multiple videos over there where like 2 and 3 years ago, I was trying to give helpful tips, helpful resources, gems of knowledge, right? When it came to resources for not just single parents, independent business owners, young people that probably wanted to know their options and resources that are available when it comes to education. That was some of what I was talking about. I had already saw something. It was like when I would talk about that, nobody was really interested. But boom, when I come up and talk about celebrities, and do these research stories on celebrities, everybody loves that. And it opened my eyes greatly to what we're really looking at out here. Very few people before immigration laws were passed, changing, before we were hearing stories about children who didn't make it because they were sleeping in a cold car with their parents. There were people out here advocating against homelessness. There were people out here talking about tiny homes already, van life, so many different options. Because y'all do know some people live the van life. But what happened with this mother's story, it's not, it didn't work out. Like, not everybody can sleep in their car at night, clearly, because of this woman's story. It's showing us all. Not everybody can sleep in their car at night and have enough gas in the car to keep the heat running all night. That's just to keep you warm in the winter months. You got to have gas. You got to feed those kids every day. You got to clothe them. You got to bathe them somewhere. They still got to get an education and somehow make it to every medical appointment without a delay or being late or missing it or having to reschedule it. Thank you. Come on. Come on up here. I like your shoes. Let me slow down because I can't talk about the topic all the way around without getting to the point at some point. It's crazy, y'all. Like some are just focused on the immigrants and what's happening with them and whether it's fair or not. But once again, I repeat, you had a legal American citizen right here who claims that in her community, that doesn't mean it's happening in every community, in every city, in every county, in every state. Let me clarify that. Today, this is just anything I state. It's just my opinions, commentary, and reaction to this very, very real topic. No, 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 no. Leave that alone. Excuse me, guys, periodically, because my baby does work with me. Y'all saw her on the channel. That's why I'm asking y'all to subscribe, because she's also finna have a channel, Dreams PlayStation channel, okay, where it'll be a station all about playing and how to play and how to play properly if there's a way to play properly. I think playing is playing as long as you're having fun when you're her age, but it would definitely be our target audience for Dreams new channel. It's definitely for children. Uh, between the ages of 1 and 5. I think you guys will really enjoy it. But please bear with us as my family, my own very family, me and my children recuperate from, you know what I'm saying, very recent setbacks. I said it again when those California fires happened out there. I'm not an investigator. I don't know how those fires got started, but I'm like the rest of the world. All we can do is kind of wait and see. But for the most part, it was being blamed on just wildfire, weatherization, and stuff like this. But that was I used that time period when that was going on to try to remind the world around us, like, regardless of how your loss occurred, I'm going to say it again on this live stream. I'm your audio host, Arthur Tetasheri. And yes, when you subscribe, you can always look in my community board area. Oftentimes, I post links to books that have been previously published by myself, or poetry collections that have been published by myself, or things we're trying to fundraise for, or just things that we're doing. Where you will make it TV, an inspirational quote platform. So never anything that comes out of my mouth on my channel when I'm doing my work, I take my work seriously. It's not to offend anybody, it's not to rile anybody. If anything, it's to invoke positive change. That's why I'm not so quick to just network with anybody who says they're also into positive change. If I know I'm for sure that's what my mission is, maybe I have to work by myself for a little while. That's something I've already accepted. See, everything's gonna make sense in a minute because that's even worth mentioning. Like it's very significant. Back to this story, I want to first give a moment of silence for those babies who were only ages 9 and 2, and I couldn't help but like be emotionally moved by the story. I literally have a 9 and 2 year old right now. One is not exactly 9, but she was 9 not that long ago, less than 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Then I have a 2 year old. Well, she's not quite 2. She's going to be 2. So when you have children around the same age as some of the victims we hear about, it's kind of like impossible not to be moved by these stories when you have children too, even if they weren't the same age as these victims were. Now, they're saying allegedly, or there's a possibility, because I believe even this story may be under some type of investigation and stuff like that. It's good to see the mom out openly doing interviews and kind of trying to shed awareness about what she just experienced. I just want to shout out to her really quick and send my condolences and let her know that she's not alone in this world at all. And it's crazy when you're homeless, you will feel alone. I don't know what it is about that trauma. It's like common though for a homeless person to, I'm talking about the day they become homeless to the time they get out of that situation. If they make it out that situation, it's totally normal to feel alone. Like when did we just start deeming people mentally ill because they weren't able to afford the housing market prices that have been went up a long time ago. Some argue with me though. They be like, no, no, Miss Whitney, housing market prices have definitely decreased since. It depends on where you live. Come on now. I listened to a guy's story on a video yesterday. Him and his family moved to Portugal, and they suddenly have cheaper rent. So I said what I said. It depends on where you live. Housing market prices are not affordable everywhere these days, and everybody knows it. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like insanity to sit there and deem somebody mentally unstable just because they are suddenly homelessness. They're homeless or they're on the border of it, especially when they're a single parent. That's why I can only hope too. This is my personal opinion, commentary, and reaction to this story. I hope that in the future, along with all the other changes that have been happening swiftly, there does become some type of extra provision, not encouraging single parenthood, but for the single parents that are already exist in the world. Obviously, we need something, y'all. They say, well, we threw the single parents child support. Okay, you created the system of child support, but we all know that not all parents pay that. Not all parents are even penalized for not paying it. All we see is the natural course of life proving what happens when certain things are set a certain way and not further like change, right, to the time period that we live in. If you keep an old law and never change it to accommodate the people, we're not talking about spiritual law right now. Spiritual law, there's nothing you can do about it to change those laws unless God has a say so in it. But when it comes to regular laws of the land, just because a mother has a child support order, a father has a child support order, does not mean the other parent has upheld that order the whole time their child has been born. Period. Let's start there. Because one of my main questions about this lady and her story, if you had two kids and you're not married and you're a single mother, clearly you should have been getting some type of help, some type. I didn't even say all the money in the world. Even this story, the father claims that his last time seeing the kids had been anywhere between a month or two before he got a call about what happened. See, people think child support is just about the money payment part. That's not true. A true child support order is gonna entail more than just about payments. You see what I'm saying? It's an order. It's like established for the well-being of the child. And she had two. And they were 9 and 2, y'all. I'm disappointed in adults too a little bit because as adults, you got a lot of people that are childish. It's just stupid. They childish and they're having children. So we've gotten past that. People know that already. Like not everybody who has a child is in the right. Like I'm not gonna say the word deserve because I don't believe the universe makes any mistakes. But we just see more stories of, for example, if the relationship don't work out, you got parents that just, oh well, she broke up with me. I'm not gonna help with the child. Now look at what happened to this 2 and 9 year old. The daddy even claimed the interview I watched. They interviewed the dad. The news did, and he was like, the mom knew about his family, and she could have reached out to his family if she needed help. She does come on there on the interview. I just, in my opinion, I didn't agree with how he was trying to make her look, because at this point, the kids have passed on, like possibly from being too cold in the car. She had to sleep in her car because shelters were telling her they were too full. No, yeah, I'm here to confirm that. They will tell you that. They don't care if it's the middle of winter, if they're full capacity. That's understandable for like two, three, four places to be full capacity, but they've literally been sending illegal immigrants back home. You mean to tell me all the shelters are still at full capacity? Even in the past 2 weeks, there should have been room for regular American citizens with what's been going on with deportations and stuff. It's just crazy. I don't know. I mean, what's y'all opinions? Leave me in the comments. If you're doing all these deportations and people are getting sent home, wouldn't that mean there's suddenly more job opportunities, suddenly more room in the shelter, suddenly more rooms in apartment complex when you try to go apply for an apartment? Because if we're not seeing that yet, what's really going on? This is very sad. Like, it's one thing for blood to be shed, but every time it's innocent blood, the world should be concerned. Not just our country, but the world. Every time innocent blood is shed, because it's like, you shedding it and why? If anything, a parent expects to outlive, I mean, I'm sorry, expects their children to outlive them. Do y'all know the type of trauma that is going to be inflicted on that woman for the rest of her life? Hope and healing is very real, but that's not something you just going to get over overnight. Like, I really, really do pray for justice on for her behalf. Look into those shelters. I hope they doing it. Every program and shelter she called for help before she ended up having to sleep in her car in the beginning of February. I don't care where you go, it's usually cold. Most times there's like these screening questions because a lot of y'all just have opinions and comments about this woman's tragedy, but you don't understand how these things work because you've never probably been in that situation. You'd be like, I'm a single parent, I can relate, but were you the type of single parent with no support at all? And I'm gonna tell y'all, we live in a world today, a single parent versus a single parent with no support at all, they don't really want to look at it that way. A single parent is a single parent. They're both in the same boat. But one with support and one with none at all is two different things. But they like to single out the ones with no support at all and just where we're crazy. We need mental health. They can tell you all the help you need, but yet where is it? Because this lady kid is down in the back seat of her car. She was doing what she's supposed to do. She's protecting them. She's there. She's watching them. Her eyes on them. She's with her kids. And maybe all she had left was her car. But it just to me that could have been prevented. Uh, how is it they don't even get to make it out the car? Because let me go back to this. When you call shelters, there's usually a screening process. The screening process means over the phone they are asking you questions to see if you would even qualify for their program. Every shelter program is different. I think y'all think, oh, it's a place with beds and food and they give them housing. That is not how that works. But see, even I was attacked for trying to speak up for stuff like this. And you're not doing nothing wrong educating people, uh, opening their knowledge a little more about how this works. Don't just tell nobody to go to no shelter if you don't know nothing about it. Make sure you have done your extensive research about the process, the entry process, the exit process, and what it might look like while they're there. And then if you're not one of the people who plans to support them while they're there, whether your family, community resources, you have no person, because I feel like I see the sneaky games they be trying to play. It doesn't matter if you call yourself a Democrat or Republican. You don't have to know anything at all to know that it's cold outside. You know what I'm saying? And if it's cold to an adult, imagine how much colder it is for a child. Of kids who lose their life just because parents leave them in the car, right? Even because we know extreme cold is dangerous. Look what happened to her 2 and 9-year-old. But extreme heat is also dangerous. That's why those people always get their kids to, or tragedies happen. Even daycares, there's been daycare cases where they accidentally left a kid on the van or the bus while they were on a field trip or when they came back from a field trip. That's why
when my kids were in daycare and school, I really do pay attention to those permission slips. A lot of y'all just sign them. You need to pay attention because those facilities also have jobs to do. They're going to call you when you late for payment. For those that didn't know that daycare is not free, because a single parent would know all about it. If you don't have some type of a child care assistance program paying for that, baby, child care is $340 a week. That's about the same as your car note that you might only pay twice a month. But no, this is the fee every week. This is not even public education yet. That's just childcare. That's not even college, baby. Because people just I see the direction that the culture is trying to go when it comes to single parenting, though the society and culture played a big role into why single parenting exists today. They want to say, well, it had nothing to do with our music and movies that we put out and the kind of culture we allowed it to be here. Everybody has to take accountability when kids start getting hurt. I'm trying to tell y'all so you're not confused. When God steps in with his justice, why would you think innocent kids being hurt is okay? Because you felt some type of way towards the mother, or you felt some type of way about the father's situation. That's why in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, when I'm not just gonna say black couples, when couples would stay married, this is why. Very rarely did you hear about a woman on the other side of town having to go pack her bags and go to a shelter because the man couldn't provide. Today, it's not even that these men can't provide. Some of them just don't want to. I was just speaking on the realities of the societal culture that we live in here over here in America. What is it, Dream Dream? Get off of my mommy's desk. Come on down. Come on down. Thank you. Here, get your tablet. Here, here, open the book. I don't know. Like, I can't speak on these topics without looking at the facts. It's not even about downing this one, that one, making that one look bad. So nobody, if anything, people have to take more accountability. Because how is a single parent created to begin with? If most babies it takes two, there should definitely be more accountability on the heads of both the two. With this story, this is just my opinion. The mother had her kids. She clearly had her kids, even if she just had two kids. She clearly had them both since birth. And the dad got on the news saying, well, she knew where my family was. It's crazy, bro. Like, why are you leaving her with the responsibility of your family? You said it's your family. It seemed like if he talking like that, the family must feel the same way. Well, she knew where we was if she needed help. And yeah, that's what we have here today, guys. Like, last I checked, families should be so involved to begin with from the time them babies come out the womb. How is a time ever coming about that you don't know what's going on with the mother and the children? Or you can just stick this sticky note on their grave saying, well, sorry, moms didn't tell us what y'all were going through. That's crazy to me. That's what leads me to believe it be more families involved with what these single mothers be going through, actually. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving y'all a new perspective, a fresher way to look at these things. Because the way that it's been explained and told to the masses, not everybody is feeling it, especially when they know. What I was saying, she was on the news saying that she called organizations, shelters for help. I've been there. That's why I feel like a great candidate to speak on this. What did y'all think? You just pull up to a shelter and they let you in? And I'm not laughing at this lady's situation. I'm laughing at the naiveness of so many commenters and naysayers, because that's not even how that works. And shout out to the moms and families out there who have started content creative platforms to give the world more of an insight of what the journey might look like. Like, I've been in a few that told me we couldn't even be on social media. Let me tell y'all that right now. That's why I said shout out to those that do use it, because I don't know if these shelters need to catch up with the times or what. But there are people out here who share their journeys of sleeping in their cars every day or living in a shelter every day. Hell, some are even living in tents, and they just want to show you what their life is like camping, this way of living. If it's mobile home living, van life living, tiny home living. Oh, it's too late to stop that trend. Many have turned to this resort of living because they say it's simply more affordable. With this mother, she even admitted it. Like, hey, I was at a point I'm trying to survive. I'm barely trying to keep gas in the car because you're gonna need gas if you're trying to change your situation. I don't think people heard her what she was saying in the interview. Like, yes, I did. Maybe she was out of money because she paid for motel rooms with it. Any mother out there that's ever paid for a hotel, motel, just to put a roof over their kid's head, I commend you today. And I might not be nobody right now, but I commend you because only somebody that's been through that would understand. So y'all do know hotel rooms, they tax you. And for those that didn't know, it's tax season. If you were doing any type of content creation work while you were living in a hotel room, while you were living in your car, while you were doing any of that, uh you can be applicable, qualifiable for tax write-offs in certain places, tax credits, because to get those taxes back, you were paying taxes on a hotel room while you do your independent business. I feel like the government noticed too, so that what they're busy doing is burning every loophole they feel like people have found to survive. And how is that righteous at all? It's like, yep, if it's a loophole, it's illegal. Cause when has being an independent single mother been a loophole? That's not something a mother chooses. Unless her children's safety, health, or well-being were on the line, okay? Cause y'all will say all day it's unhealthy for children to be in a toxic relationship, to be in a household of a toxic relationship. Well, what if the mother leaves and separates herself and now she's trying to make it on her own, like we saw with this lady's story? Then what? Nobody should be stalking her. Nobody should be following her. Nobody should be putting her life in danger. Period. Well, she didn't say she was experiencing that, but I say that's a form of neglect. For that man family to not have known what she was going through, like on TV, he just be like, she could have told us what was going on and we could have helped with the kids. That's crazy, y'all. Them families never, that's what I've been noticing. They never want to take accountability for their sons' actions, grandsons, nephews, cousins. But they will, what I notice, they'll be knowing they have kids and they'll support the new woman he's with. And if they have a new child, they'll support that. But they will not acknowledge, like, hey, why is it that your ex with that you had 3 kids by don't want to be nowhere near you? That's where we need to start. These women ain't just extending themselves like branches going far away from these men for no reason. I will be glad again. It's like they don't do much about they do, but we could be doing more when it comes to domestic violence situations. Not saying that the woman in this story was experiencing it, but I say it's a good topic to bring that up in again. Again, domestic violence causes homelessness. A lot of the people in the domestic violence shelters are not there because they couldn't afford their homes. They're there because somebody's trying to financially abuse them, hacking their mobile banking accounts, making their jobs and lives hard at home. That way, when they go to work, they can't give their fullest best self in the workplace. Knowing these women be having children, I mean, I don't see how people can't see what I see about this. It's crazy. Children are beginning to live their lives, but you turn around and that man got a home and a job. I mean, what we got to do? Start sending the children home with the daddies from the hospitals just to prevent so many single mothers from being uh, uh, I mean, this story is crazy, bro. They're being convicted. They're being incarcerated as we speak for being labeled quote unquote negligent moms and all it is. But if I worked for CPS and agencies, I would definitely look into these fathers more and the fathers' families. Period. Because most times, if you're a single mother, all them kids got is the single mother's family, and that's a lot on those families. Those families didn't make the babies. Once again, it take a mother and a father to do that right there. And yes, some babies are unplanned. You telling me that an unplanned child deserves less than a planned child? No, I don't think as long as I live, I'll agree with that. Did I mention how happy I am to be back live streaming today? Happy Valentine's to you guys out there. To the families that are holding it together the best they can, I encourage you to continue to do that. Keep that love strong. It's two kids not here today because a couple couldn't. And one of those babies were only 9 months, I think it said 8, 9 months old. So that they had to had a fling not that long ago. I mean, Valentine's Day is a good day to remind people, flings are will sometimes cost you more than you expected, especially if a baby come out of it. I have seen black women turn time and time again. You can call them 304s, whatever you want to, but you can't say that they don't at least attempt to move forward and continue to take care of those kids that fathers neglect, period, because they don't agree with your lifestyle. Woo, woo, woo. And I feel that. I'm not finna sit up here and say every mother is perfect. I feel that 100%. I'm saying if you got so many educated fathers who know this, why haven't they got attorneys yet and fought for the kids? Because see, maybe if he would have did that, his family's so knowledgeable, knowing that she could have called them and all of this. These families be messy, boy. Why wasn't y'all helping him to get a lawyer, and so he can fight for his kids the proper way? They leave it at that. The mother took off. Well, she's a single mother. Single mother don't just mean you off the hook as a father. That's crazy. She's a single mother because you didn't marry her or she didn't want to marry you. And just because you marry a person don't still mean that father gonna be active. These husbands be out here cheating, skeeting, and doing God knows what else. Not all of them. You can only call yourself a single mother or parent if you have found yourself in a situation like that lady before. You are the one that's making all the ends meet. You know why we do that as single parents? Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to call somebody for help every time we don't know what we're finna do. That's what comes with single parenting. But look what happens when this mother tried to. So back to that. When you call a shelter, they have a screening process. Most of them. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions, and this is before you even know. It's crazy. Like, this is without the possibility that you might get in. They're going to have a lot of your information because they're going to ask you about it just because you tell them you need a place to stay. Things I've been paying attention to over the years. Even when I told myself, man, as a single parent, no matter what situation I get in, I'm never going back to a shelter, right? I tried to tell myself that because I know how some of this stuff is. And I never agreed with you having all my life business and still telling me, no, we have no room. And I would ask them, well, why did you ask me this series of 20 questions just a second ago? I'm sure you knew you had room before you asked them. I mean, you knew you didn't have room before you asked me a series of 20 questions like, what's my children's name? What's their ages? What's my name? What's their ages? What's the situation? How long have you been? They ask you a lot of questions, y'all, just to get in there. Just to tell you sometimes, just like this woman's story, I'm trying to help the people that might be investigating what happened to her children. Because they do that. They'll get all your business and still tell you, well, we're full. Some have a wait list, some don't. But even with that, with her being told they were full, it doesn't make sense, bro. It's literally the month that immigration deportations has begun. So if it ain't immigrants in a shelter, who in there they got them so full? I need y'all to start looking into these people with these jobs at the shelters answering the phones. Because sometimes it's just biasness. I don't think they be fooled the way they say. I don't. They just pick and choose who they gonna help. Sadly, that's the truth about it. This story made me so angry, bro. And everybody that's watching the news about it is angry because this is a story that's actually being reported. I wondered in this winter alone, how many children didn't make it? And we're not talking about like CPS and being pulled out the home. We're talking about literally lost their life because their mother or father didn't have a place to stay. This one story out of Detroit is just one family. When y'all hear me take pauses, I'm just right giving respect to the babies. I know they're flying around in heaven with they're in a better place just to encourage the family and the parents that are um, experiencing this right now. In my opinion, anybody who had a good heart and soul that left here, there's no question about it. They're in a more peaceful and better place than here. And people, we don't say that to just encourage and inspire them because death is also a real part of life. Like, but no children should have to go before the parents do. Like, do y'all not see how homelessness is being weaponized? Homelessness is a whole weapon these days because of what could happen to you in that situation. Why y'all think they be wanting to see the single moms homeless? A person is actually trying to help raise the next generation. And we know that parents, I love how they picking and choosing which parents supposed to be so bad today. Cause how do we think all the criminals that's running around, the grown ones, who do we think raised them? Who do we think raised Jeffrey Dahmer and some of these other people who literally hurt kids for a living in the secrecy of their homes? They had parents that raised them who obviously weren't looked into far enough because they became full blown adult serial killers. But we want to selectively choose which ones. Yeah, we think this one doesn't deserve housing and that one don't deserve food stamps. That's what they start doing. That's the days we living in. I mean, we're gonna wait till 2025 to start assessing who needs food stamps and not. Let me remind you, the 70s and 80s was the crack cocaine area. We got worse stuff to worry about today. Yeah, our young people can't smoke a joint like they did in the 70s without really fully knowing if it might be some fentanyl laced in it. That's what our young people are dealing with, regardless of what kind of parent they have. That's already out there on the streets. I'm just talking about how even if you're not a single parent today, like the parents today have to have a whole nother type of strength to protect their kids, not just from the internet, but from the drugs out there, from all the social influences. For hell, some of the influences be within the family that you be trying to protect them from. So, period. We are not living in the 70s and 80s. Notice it's the 70s and 80s era people that got so much to say, the elders, right? Because they are so desperate, in my opinion, to cover up. They also were not perfect parents. I mean, look at the world today. The longer you sit there and accuse all those in their 30s and 40s of being bad parents, you're also telling on yourself. You're telling on a generation who created this generation. You're saying that you didn't do the best job preparing them for what the world has become. You're telling them that you didn't stand up for enough rights and changes when you could have, when you talk about us today. And it's not to ever defend anybody's behavior or just imagine how long I've been sitting on the thoughts that I have. It's crazy, bro. And I'm just one person. The screening process is you telling these people your long life story, and they may say, well, you can come today or tomorrow. Some people literally live out of state right now because all the ones they called in the area county they were, yeah, man, it's time to talk about this. People have literally left states to find a shelter that had room. And if I could have spoken to that young lady before what happened to her kids, that's exactly what I would have told her to do. But then guess what, y'all? I still would have been up under some kind of fire. The young lady too. Yeah, let me tell y'all why. They would have said, "Well, you encouraged a lady to take her kids away from the father and move to another state." But when we're trying to co-parent right there in the same city, the same county, the same state, like this lady was trying to do, the kids pass away because she didn't have nowhere to sleep. Yeah, something's not adding up. Something not adding up. Hold on, boom. Thank you. Okay, so you're forcing. That's something I think needs to change. Like, stop binding, because that's what you're doing. She binded herself to him when she had that baby. I do understand that, any single mother, but she's not bound to some father and his family just because she has his children. That's what child support orders are supposed to help us get an understanding about. Only those two parent, not all the naysaying family members who be in these baby daddies' ears and baby mama's ears. No. When court come, if you want to be in somebody's ear, help your son, nephew, whoever it is, get a lawyer and do it the right way. But you don't have enough fathers doing it, which shows me a lot. They want to take justice into their own hands by making the mothers look in what is the word? Incompetent. Like me, that's just going to be a challenge. Incompetent where? I just graduated college in 12 of 2023. It take a lot of focus to stay down through a 2-year degree, maybe a 4-year in my new future, maybe go back for a doctorate. But see, when you're not in a single mother's shoes, it's easy to just go chase your dreams. You don't have to pay for childcare. You're not paying for your daughter's hair to be braided every week. You're not paying for this stuff, right? It's easy to be in their shoes and just sit on the sidelines and talk about what the mother don't have and what she need to do. Like, that is crazy to me. Anyways, like I said, I would have told the young lady, well, if all the shelters in Detroit are telling you that there's no room, because I would have believed her. I know she ain't lying. During the pandemic, that was another time that if well, y'all know people were becoming homeless during the pandemic. They were losing jobs and all kind of stuff that caused homelessness. Even statistics say child abuse cases, domestic violence cases, all that increased during the pandemic alone. So there were many different factors that led people to quote unquote homelessness, including those California wildfires just recently. People say it's impossible to have money in the bank and not have a home. Tell that to the people in California. They had money in the bank, but do you think they expected to come home to their houses burning? So now you got money in the bank, but you're homeless. That's what I'm saying. Different things cause people to, and there's constantly backfires. It's like the universe is responding. There's constantly things continuing to transpire until our attention is gotten in a truthful way about how the world is choosing to do things, especially pertaining to children. Like, I know the universe is is got to be some type of good force, right? Because anything that protects children, I support it. I really do. I mean, that's truly protecting children. It's as if the universe is responding. It's like, what life do you have? What future? When you don't care if a mother has a place to stay. I'm just talking about this, how she ended up sleeping in her car. But the kid, it was so cold, the kids did not make it. They passed away, y'all. Now let's talk about the mothers who do have, because we're not just talking about, oh, that couple has an apartment and there. No, 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 no. We're talking about a single mother with her own place. When she calls places in her city and say, hey, I might need assistance with rent. I'm gonna use myself for an example, because sometimes you're not even asking for the whole portion. You told them, well, I got 1,000 of it. I'm needing assistance with 200, right? Like, I do have child support orders, but that don't mean every dad pays. Period. Or some mothers pay. That don't mean they pay on time every week, every month, whenever they're scheduled to pay. So people, you have to know what's going on before you talk like you do. Cause I guarantee you, if the shoe was on the other foot and I'm a paying child support payment, I'm gonna pay that plus try to give my kids extra plus make sure they have my number. They can call me. I might not see you every day, but guess what? I would want you to personally have my address in case something do go down where you at. I want you to know where you can find your mama. It would never be a situation like, I don't know where my daddy stay. I don't know when he gonna pay child support again. I don't even know if he love me. It would never be that if the shoe was on the other foot. I say it all the time. If the daddy getting off work late and he need me to go pick him up from school, I would do that. But you cannot sit here and say that every single mother has that type of support. So when you talk about the single mother, put them in two categories: the single mothers with support and the single mothers who don't. You can see the single mothers who do. They can drop them off at grandma's and get a club party in on the Saturdays, probably this weekend for Valentine's Day. Those are the mothers we're talking about with support, the single ones. No matter who they date, where they go, what they doing, baby, they gonna have support for their children, and we not here to hate on them. And you will make it TV. We're saying, do understand and consider that there are the single parents with support, and there's the ones that don't. There's even the single parents who only have support as long as they're living according to what the dad would prefer, whatever that might be. That could be him cheating, her having to stay and give up her dreams. I mean, I've heard it all. And actually, I'm keeping a very loved one's advice to me dear to my heart. And this woman ain't even here no more. But she told me like this. She said, sweetie, the man I married, I had dreams when I met him. I had things that I wanted to do. All she told me, it was this: young lady, make sure that whatever you want to do, and like put that first, because you might look up and you 63, 53, and you got to tell yourself, damn, I put my whole life on hold for my quote unquote husband. See, them kids gonna grow up and have their life one day. They're gonna choose their lives for themselves. And their husband, he's just going to be satisfied. You know, he had his wife since she was 18 years old or whatever. But I have heard from women that felt like they put their dreams and goals, something they truly could have done as an independent woman, on hold for a man. And it's just something that I don't see myself doing. If we can't be in a relationship where you're chasing your dreams and I'm chasing my dreams too, you're not going to be happy anyway. You're going to be constantly arguing in front of the kid. That's not a situation you need to be in. A man that don't support your dreams and goals, or a woman that don't, how is that healthy for your children? Being a single parent probably isn't either, but at least it's not as toxic. Because, you know, people love that term. Everybody's talking about what's a red flag and what's toxic today. And we don't see how toxic that is. Where two children had lost their life in the backseat of a car that the mother was forced to sleep in because all the agencies of that county told her there were no room in the shelters. And might I add this, y'all, she was a black woman. This how it is for black people. If you don't have your family, I mean, we're black people. If you don't have your family, I ain't gonna say 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Who you got? I'm sure the families knew that. I'm sure her baby daddy knew that, and her baby daddy family knew that. Black people know this. They know how. They even know our history in this country, and they will still betray one another. They will still turn their back on the next one. They will still down talk the next one, knowing our history was once that all we had was each other. Knowing that, and they know it today. They know that all we got is each other, and they'll still step on the next black person to come up. And we wonder why these toxic cycles continue. We wonder. I would have told the young lady, why don't you look? Sometimes the next county over is just 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away, maybe an hour most. Think about where you stay right now and where the next county is from you. Because you don't want to wait till there's an extreme emergency in your county to begin to get familiar with the counties that surround you. Just because you don't live in a county or work in a county does not mean you are banned from that county from asking for help when it's rental assistance. I wouldn't care, electricity assistance, because if her kids died in a car, I'm thinking about the families that couldn't afford their light bills. It to me, it's not about where it happened. It's just that the whole situation was preventable, or is it just me? That was definitely preventable. Even if she had to call another state, it's not, I'm not doing this live for her to feel bad about what happened, but hopefully to save other children's lives in the future. Another single mother, if everywhere in your city say they ain't got room, no kind of help to help your little baby children, why would you stay in that area? That's another thing. People say, "Oh, that person's on the run. That person's moving here and there. They're taking the kids everywhere." Is it that, or is it that the previous county didn't even have? You could count on your fingers how many resources they had for children. That's number one. What did I say at the beginning of the stream? It depends on where you live, where you reside. And yes, not just that single parent. Many people, since the pandemic started, many people have moved. I don't know what the family courts need to do or what, but this is a fact. Many people have had to move for housing opportunities. We're not talking job opportunities, resources for your children yet, just for housing opportunities. Yeah, like that's been going on. Like a person may have to move to another city, another state, because the opportunity, the realistic opportunity for them to survive, function, and live a non-toxic life is realer sometimes for some people in a different place. For some people, that place isn't their hometown, but that's something you discuss in family court, right? You don't wait till something happened to the kids and then say, well, she barely told us what was going on. I wouldn't tell I would tell people what's going on with me either if I feel like all they do is talk about it, but there's never any assistance. Come on now. Why keep telling you where I'm finna move next? Why keep telling you what I'm finna do with my kids next? Why call you every time my child has an outburst? Like, what is it can you do from miles away? Some do get support from miles away. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be amazed what one video chat visit with your child can do. A child you ain't seen in 2 or 3 months. And I know because I was in NICU with my little baby, and my kids were in another city the whole time I was there. And I bet you I talk to my kids on video chat every day. Me and baby was in NICU for like 2.5 weeks. Let me add that up for y'all. That's damn near a month. That's half a month that you were away from your children. I'm just using some of my personal experiences for people for inspiration. I had never been away from my kids that long. Y'all better ask somebody that know me. The daddies too. I had never been away from my kids that long until I had this last baby, and the doctors claimed she needed to be in NICU for half a month. You hear me? Okay, so they was in there for half a month, but what I'm saying is there's no excuse for not knowing what's going on with your babies, bro. Like, I talk to them every day on video chat. Sometimes I called, they was busy and stuff, but we didn't miss a beat. I'm like, okay, well, call me at 8. Call me at, we had a scheduled time and everything. And I believe that support was everything for them. At the time, they was like, your kids are having mental health. They probably are. I'd be depressed as hell too if my little sister is in NICU. Like, come on, bro. I'm not gonna be right till I get home with my little sister. But before that time, the kids had never been assessed and called me crazy or that they have depression or none of that. That's what takes my faith a little bit out of the. I know every therapist is different, because see, like that mother that just lost her kids, she's definitely gonna need some mental health therapy for a while. Like, that's not something y'all can expect her to understand and accept easily. But I'm saying, even some of these mental health case studies can be prevented. All y'all had to do is get that woman a shelter room. I'm sure there's a lot of people feeling bad as it is, probably making excuses, sitting around talking about how, oh yeah, she did call us. See, if these shelters were being more looked into, y'all just thought charity was charity, and you were hoping they were doing the right things. It's just time to talk about it. Not every charitable organization is doing the right thing. Period. As much as you're looking off into illegal immigrants, we need to be looking into illegal social organizations that say that they're assisting families. Because just to assist them, they do have to get a lot of their personal information. Hmm. I don't even know how some of the illegal immigrants were staying in the shelters so long, as much as they ask you for, just to stay there. Like you signing a lease, like you're signing a mortgage agreement, loan. That's how much they ask y'all for. And you're not talking to a woman that's been in one shelter her whole life. Yeah, I'm the right speaker, advocate, blogger, author for my channel. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters. My channel not gonna be for everybody. But I'm saying it's probably mothers out there right now. I know it is, because like there was a period when I was more in the engaged, what do you call it? Like I was more engageful with the communities that I'm from. People knew who to call. Like they know who to call. Like, where can I maybe find diapers for help for my child? Where can I maybe find help paying for this CDL license? Where can I maybe find clothing? Maybe people didn't look at that as help because it wasn't money, but I definitely knew those resources. You would if you knew you were doing a lot by yourself. You had no choice. You found out how you could help yourself or you had no help. And that story reminded me of how blessed I am. My own self. Because people try to make you feel down about the way you had to go find some help, but because this lady couldn't find help, her kids are no longer living, bro. I don't see what people don't understand about about their toxicity. So that's fine if you don't want a family member living with you. That's fine if you don't agree with how a family member lives. But you don't wait till the mother is down on her last leg to say, "Oh, well, we the family, we can help you." Like, why would you do that? And even if she don't come for y'all from help, what laws say the parents should be locked up because she's not going to her family for help? That's weird to me. That's almost like the country is forcing all families. Well, if that's true, let us all recreate the families we want. For real. Y'all gonna force people, families. I mean, the shelters ask you that too in the screening process. Where is your family? I promise, like I said, if you ain't been through it, this is not one of those you can comment on. They want to see your check stub. It, like, once again, it depends on which program you're getting in. I remember a few when I was in that lady's situation. I'm talking about the part because I haven't lost my kids, thank God. Like, not to death, not to the world, and I don't plan to. But I'm not gonna say it's easy work, especially when you by yourself. You got a lot of people like to test it just because they know you've studied the game. They want to come test you and see if you're applicable, as if God has told them to do that. But 2 babies died in the backseat of the car this week. So have your Valentine presents. Love each other while you can. I'm not being funny. Like, there are strangers out there don't know what they're gonna eat tonight, and some will be having lobster and roast and steak, the highest, rarest meat you can find, just because it's Valentine's Day, bro. Like, it's crazy, trying to continue to function in a society as such, but I believe equality is coming sooner than people think, especially when you have something called New World Order where everybody is equal. Like, everybody's going to be getting the same income, the same rations, the same monitoring security, because people thought it was funny to have one person monitoring it and security all around them. How about everybody's watch? How about everybody gets the same amount of food? I mean, because people showed this. They let the spirit of envy, jealousy, all this stuff take over their minds and hearts, and then they want to wonder where all these sudden laws and stuff coming from and sudden changes. I just said nobody's perfect. They want to see who. Why is the new generation like this? Probably because of the people that raised them, right? We're not talking about the kids. We're talking about the people my age. Anywhere from 30s to 40s, the 70s and 80s parents raised you. I'm sorry, the 60s and 70s parents. God forbid the spotlight gets shined on them. Well, they've already told us the truth. How the big drug epidemic started in the 70s and all of this, and fathers started leaving the homes and all of this. They took accountability already, but I don't like where they try to leave out the accountability pertaining to their own children and grandchildren. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Because I'm sure everybody in her baby daddy's family that's saying she could have called them for help, they thinking about that now. Cause like if that was so true, why was she not, they be saying that she knew she could have called us. How did y'all treat that mother? Any woman, any single woman mother who does not feel comfortable calling you for help, you've made her feel uncomfortable about that same help. People better stop playing. They better be glad I don't work for CP. I can see through stuff like that. So you mean to tell me she just ran off and chose for her kids to be freezing in the car? If she didn't call y'all for help, it was something about y'all that made her feel uncomfortable. And it's starting with they kinfolk, which was her baby daddy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy out here, y'all. They'll get all your I get on bill collectors, whoever it is, schools. It was a few schools did that. They waited till I turned in all the information. They ain't gonna say, "Oh yeah, we don't have no room right now." I said, well, I wonder what you're finna do with all that personal information I just gave you about me and my kids to get them into school. Like, I just say it out loud now. I don't think that makes me bipolar. Taking more authority over your own life, how does that make a person mental health? If you notice lately, boy, that's the number one thing they swear people are dealing with. Oh, really? It's not the economy. It's not all the sudden changes. It's not the housing market. It's not the price of gas. It ain't none of that. We just got mental health and we can't afford our bills. And the ones that can't, if they show it off too much, oh, they're being robbed. They're being scammed. They're being watched. I'm gonna say it like that. It's kind of hard. It's getting to the point. It's hard to be successful, especially openly these days, because somebody's always lurking to stop their success. God forbid you become successful as a single mother without us. How does that make us look? It's just crazy, y'all. I mean, we talked about you so bad, we can't let you succeed. That's the position some of these single mothers in right now. People who in the back of their minds just say, well, we got to do something to keep attacking her. See, a lot of y'all are being attacked out of somebody else's fear. But don't worry, God sees it. If God didn't see it, I wouldn't know about it. But sometimes another not overcoming their fear of change, overcoming their fear of independency, overcoming their fear of what could change because they did something different. Because they do say insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a new result. But boy, the best we could come up with, when a mom try to do something different so she not doing the same thing over and over again, she got to be some type of prostitute. She got to be on the run. She got to be bouncing around because she's hiding something. No, maybe the county that she once knew just, they said they didn't have no help, right? They got no rental assistance. All she needed was $300 help. And let me tell y'all something about rental assistance. They don't send it to you in a check. Like, that's not money you get in your hand. Can't buy it. They pay that directly to the landlord. Why these where do these rental assistance agencies get the money to help single parents? Mental health patients. What else can we call disabled people, the elderly? Where do they get this money? Oh, that's just donations. That's just donations and contributions. Now they try to guard it. It's just like those donors need to really start looking into how these people are doing their money. Because why did 2 kids die in the back of a car in the freezing cold? Because agencies told her they have no funds to help her. So they had no vouchers to maybe help her with a motel room. They had no shelters with any room. That's why I said I would have encouraged her as a caseworker. It wouldn't have just been like, well, honey, figure it out. It would have been more like, let's go ahead and move to the next city and see what they got and help you with some gas so you can get there with those kids and help you with the child support application so that their daddy can possibly help send you some money so you're not in that situation again. Too much is being covered up too fast for y'all to see the facts. It's crazy, bro. Ain't nobody doing that bad and they got two whole living parents. That's just one of them parents choosing not to provide. Choosing that if things are not going their way, they don't think that the mother should. Oh boy, they can listen to me now, or we see the country get worse. Because that's what I see going on. You know, a bunch of spoiled brats, grown spoiled brats, who don't want to see baby fathers move on with happier lives or baby mothers when it's not even about them no more from the time those children are born. Some people that know me gonna be shocked when they hear this because I better have some type of knowledge by now. My oldest is finna be 14, youngest 1. So I'm talking between what I've seen from the time she was born to my new baby. I'm a great candidate for this topic when it comes to reaction and commentary. Because my thing is, even if she would have been helped with shelter and she got her a place, guys, who's not to say at some point within that first year of her place, we know that most lease are anywhere from 6 months to a year. Somebody like me, I even felt like month to month arrangements were better for me and my family. The way stuff be going down every time I move somewhere. Like who says you got to do if 6 month, 12-month lease? A lot of people don't know that. I did a month to month lease recently. Not recent, maybe like within the past year. One of my last places, I was actually, what is that called? Like qualified for a month to month. Every landlord is different. Of course somebody calls while I'm trying to record, boy. Uh all I was saying is every month to month. Hold on, y'all. Hello? Dream. Stop. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Hey. No. And I'm back. A phone call came through. I had to take that really quick. But I do hate that though. I just be feeling like all day the calls could have came through. They be coming through while I'm recording. I really do hope to see more of. I just think that would help, like more of these shelters and stuff. Even as the illegal immigrant deportations happen, they still need to be looked into. Cause being biased about who you're going to help, who you're going to let in, that's crazy. I bet she talked to 2 or 3 shelters, and somebody along the way told the other one not to help. Y'all do know baby daddies in their family, like let's for real, they be feeling a type of way just to see a black mother try to do what she's supposed to do. If your black son didn't marry her brother, her life, she can go do what she want to do. And hopefully it does consist of taking care of her children the right way, the best she can try to do. Because let's remember, right, that man didn't want to marry her. That should not stop his responsibilities as a father. People don't like these topics, but it's just been going on too long, bro. Like a lot of this don't even have to be happening. If you've made up your mind you don't want to contribute to children you made, you definitely need to stay out the way. You should not be making phone calls to shelters asking them not to help your baby moms. And I don't know what workers would be condoning it. That's not a part of your job description. To you just work in the shelter, right? You're to help those when they get in there, navigate their way and find the things they need so they can move on with their life. Because once again, who stays in a shelter their whole life? Anybody who has a pattern of continually going through it, yeah, some things need to be investigated in their life as well. These are my opinions and commentary and reaction to this topic. You could prevent a lot of people from having, like, for real, y'all, who go there. Like, that's why I can compare some of the programs I've been in recently to ones I've been in before. Baby, they would help you so much. You in there, ain't no way you was coming back in no year or two. Ain't no way. They set you up with something called the Women's Center. The Women's Center, they just you didn't have to be a woman to get help, but it had its own story behind it. Shout out to the Women's Center. You guys know who you are. And it's been years, y'all, like maybe 10 to 12 years since I've talked to these people last, but I think they're still out there somewhere in Fort Worth, Texas. If I'm not mistaken on him here. What do? They help victims after certain crimes, women victims. So that could be anywhere from housing to mental health help to also getting them back into the workforce if that's something that they want to do. Man, I can't even, that's how much they do. I can't even state it all on here. It's crazy, and it pushes me more into my work and what I was trying to do on You Will Make It TV, knowing that children are losing their lives out here. Because you don't, you got families that just want to be bitter. They believe that in their heart. If they not helping them, or if you don't want the help from them, you should make it in life. If your success doesn't come from, I mean, it's crazy. People are so more obsessed with their image than they are with what's actually going on. It's crazy. I know exactly what's going on in my life. I really never needed help sharing what I was going through, because I don't know who it was thought I would be ashamed to talk about my story of how I've had to survive because people didn't want to help, but I'm not, you know. Come on, baby. You can't play in here. Get out of here. No, no. Here, get your shirt. Get your shirt. Like when I first started my channel, I was thinking about some stuff earlier. My first channel, Crown Publishing Content. See, I knew how to publish a book or help somebody publish their book. I didn't need a channel. It was just, you know what I'm saying? You were growing or adding branches or vines to what you had already started, right? Like my first book, God Save the Queen, came out long before I started my first YouTube channel. Once again, I was a single mother while I was doing all of this. Um, but when I started the channel, what was I thinking about? Because I had thought about this earlier. Yeah, I had I had a whole job when I started that channel. I had a job. My kids were going to physical in-person school, and I didn't have little mama yet, but that was just God talking to me as a single mother. Like, you do know, regardless of what the naysayers are saying, they only can say it because you've switched your life around a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's how you know people are watching you in an inappropriate way, or it's something going on, because it's like, oh, now that your kids be at home with you more on a regular basis, people want to just point out whether you deserve that or something. It's weird. Well, what is she doing in her home, and what's going on? But once again, my thing has been, if you're not helping, if you ain't called a local organization to see how you could help that family, what is your nose in their business helping that family? Cause you just finna go spread more rumors. I'm telling y'all how that's been hurting people. 2 kids just died in the backseat of that lady car because she was sleeping in her car homeless. I wouldn't care what they trying to tell me. I'm sure it's happening. It's done happened all winter. That's one story we're hearing about. Maybe the media is testing it. Well, let's test this and see how people take it. Knowing that 2 children died in the car because a single mother couldn't be helped. One woman. hmm There was that other story during the pandemic. I think they were out of Texas. Okay, so pretty much the young boy, they were saying a lot of kids who had got severely depressed during the pandemic from not getting to go nowhere, just being stuck in the house and stuff like that. Though it's like it was some type of big experiment too, because it's like now we're gonna try to force people to stay in the house because they might be too in. I'm not one of those. Like that's why I made a post one day. If I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna go out and get me some fresh air. I don't care who don't like it, who said what about me. I'm not finna hide my face for nobody. So I guess if y'all do, I'm telling y'all now, if the rumors and lies get worse, that's why. I'm not staying in the house like people want me to. I can stay in the house, but when I'm in here and it's like, and I'm trying to do content and people want to play with your channel and views and stuff, well, don't try to stop me from going outside. Either way, I'm a win in life. Getting breath of fresh air every day is winning. If I never make another dollar, I got to experience real oxygen and air, and most of that outside is polluted. I mean, notice how the fog stories just went away suddenly after they started talking about the illegal immigrants. You never heard anything else about the drones, the fog, the spy balloons that were in the air. But me, I'm not just gonna forget about this stuff. All that stuff going on at the same time. We're telling parents, "Oh, we don't have room at the shelters." And then you hang up. That's been exposed. Then they hang up, and them kids died in the backseat of their mama car. It's not funny. It's so sad. It's funny. Sometimes you laugh to keep from crying. Like y'all hung up and carried on with your day and got your paycheck from working at the shelter and went and did whatever with the money. And I don't see how people sleep at night like that, like knowing you had the power in the position to help change a person's life, truly. But you chose to do the other thing. That's crazy. Did I mention how happy I am to be back on live with you guys, engaging with my subscribers? I've been making an announcement at the Crown Publishing channel too for everybody to come subscribe here because we have a few more channels coming soon in 2025. I also have a new book coming for you guys suddenly. It's going to be something different like I never did before. Y'all, let's see what I mean when I put it out. But as this book does its thing, where it can help people, I will get back into my life of authorship. And yes, I feel like I've been attacked since I started. That's crazy. You pick a career, you picked one thing that you love. And so many people got a problem with it. So I went from writing to speaking, even if that wasn't easy for me, right? You started podcasts or you started, and I don't just do what I do on YouTube because I want to actually engage with my followers more. And thank God there's proof. Like I've talked to local radio broadcasting companies, especially in the last state I was in. It was like it came right to me. I can't make this up. I'm working at a job doing a whole nother position. And as I'm getting a tour one day, they show me, they like, this is the radio room. And I'm like, what, y'all got that up here? They say, yeah, this is the radio station. I'm like, right here at the job? Because I worked in another department. So people at the time were so busy trying to destroy one job, they didn't know that I had in that same building. In that same building, I could have walked to a whole nother department and provided my services in the communication room. And though that didn't go through at the time, it's those moments of potential that showed you what your future was going to be. When I speak for myself, or what my future could have been. You know what I'm saying? I was that close. It was like, well, we have been looking for help, not on some DJ stuff, just like maybe helping prepare the content for the radio station, whatever, right? I had to explain it to my daughter because sometimes she'd be like, your channel ain't that important. You ain't even got that many subscribers or whatever. And I'm like, young daughter, sometimes it ain't always about the analytics and the numbers. With something like YouTube, it don't take but one right person to come across your gift, the person that's supposed to be. You don't want to be in the faces of the wrong people anyway. Um, and sometimes being in the faces of those wrong people, you don't know who those wrong people know. They can get you to your simple destination you was trying to go. What did I mention? Authorship and maybe broadcasting on some levels. You know what I'm saying? I even got an opportunity. That's why I don't sleep on them either. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime they can pin you in the corner and you homeless and they can step on you while you down, they gonna do that. So I do all I can, even if it looks like my business is all over the place. At least you got open doors all over the place. One of those open doors for Miss Whitney is the possibility of enrollment in film school soon. So I just ask y'all keep me in your positive thoughts and prayers as I continue on my career journey here. Here, boo boo. Here, you got two of them. See if you can turn it on. Here. I hope that makes sense to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there are people that are fought against. Like, I might not be in a lady position where we was sleeping in a car, not now or not in the past, but it's like, even when I was, that's what my video is gonna prove. I was still on here doing content, not on You Will Make It TV, but Crown Publishing content. I gave it that name because that's what I love to do. You know, whether that content is music, videos, photos, books, magazines, and forget talking potential. Cause you know why I'm bringing this up? Y'all like, why she talking about all the things she can do? Cause this the people y'all be telling you don't have room in shelters. People who could really be providing a service, and you just assume that they had no skills, no talent. I know when I moved to the state I'm in right now, I was in my last month of college and finished in a shelter. Yeah, they college ain't gonna they don't care about that. They don't care about that. That's your money you're paying if you don't finish your degree. Not the shelters, not the cities, not none of it. You know what I'm saying? So I made sure to do what I needed to do. Most shelters will have something like a computer room or maybe Wi-Fi, but that's not promised. So all y'all that's telling me save your money while you're in a shelter. No, I still had to pay for Wi-Fi. They don't provide you with a laptop. They don't provide you with a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? You got to still be some sense of independent when you go into those situations, which it looked like this mother was. I just don't understand for the life of me how every city in the county, I'm not saying she lying, I'm actually confirming that I've been through that. But then they want to say you keeping your kids away from them because you had to take a housing opportunity in another city, in another county, in another state. How does that make sense? That county would have to get their housing arrangements right first, their organizations right first, if you want to keep families feeling like they can stay there and stay close to their families and stuff like that. When a person has exhausted everything in their city to get their leg up, or the city is telling them they don't have no more help, you can't get mad at them for moving. Because I do feel like that lady, that's something she could have hold did. She had a car too. Even if she took a DoorDash job on the side, like, I don't know what her situation was, but I do wonder. I'm sure more will unfold from this story. That's why they got those interviews from her and the father at the beginning. I'm sure, like, hey, how did this even happen? Thank you guys for tuning in to another live segment where You Will Make It TV, where we believe faith attracts possibilities. You can show your support by hitting the like button, share any of our content, or subscribe soon so that you stay notified every time we go live and post new content. Leave your opinions and thoughts in the comments. If you guys do happen to find more information, like, that's where she's precious to me too. Usually by this time, a person then threw a GoFundMe out there. Like, no, she's truly grieving. Like, she's not even asking for no money. She just want people to hear her story of how injusticely she felt like she was treated through her situation. The best people can say is, well, just don't put yourself in that situation in the first place. Go to work. And I just want to hear y'all opinions about that, because last I checked, it's whole nurses, doctors make a lot, make more than all of us. They still was sleeping in their cars and stuff. That's how you know rent is high and bills and whatever. But some of those people been start living a van life. Whole people with professional careers, and you telling people to go to job to try to prevent it. So you know, with something like just a McDonald's job, you, I wouldn't even say these days you getting by. You better have a roommate, something. You think you just gonna pay all your bills every month, still have everything you need, and food, and a car, and insurance, and all that with a McDonald's job? That don't mean don't try. I'm just saying, I'm teaching people the realities of what they be telling us. I seen people stay at a shelter that had a McDonald's job. You know what I'm saying? So then what could they tell them? They had a job, they were still homeless. So I don't know. I don't get people logic with that. It's like for years, for generations, y'all put the blame on the homeless, saying they was on drugs and got mental health. That's not working no more. You got doctors and people with degrees that's homeless. So now what is it? They crazy too? Thank you guys for tuning in with us, and until next time. Period, bro. Like